and I got to go home. I got to run. It's just part of my schedule. It just helps me structure my life, I guess, almost. And the healthy part, trying to keep trim and heart healthy.
I got this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the races kind of stink, but I mean, whatever. Yeah, it's not about the race, really.
And Brenda?
Yeah.
As I told you last year, for me anymore, it's the journey rather than the destination.
Yeah.
The journey isn't nearly as much fun because I can't chat with everybody on the trail. I just can chat with half a dozen people instead of a dozen people. And you got to stay far apart and all that other good stuff. But just the everyday is good. Every day is good.
Every day that you're healthy is good. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Until the alien invasion in September. Because everything else is going to hell. So the aliens are coming in September, I think.
Not August?
I don't know, maybe.
My kid is home another 6 months. Oh,
You sound so excited about that.
I'm thrilled.
So you want to get out and run so you're not home with them.
Well,
Longer runs.
lot of guitar playing, and it's driving me a little crazy at times.
You, Jeff, or your son?
Him.
Oh, I could see you with a guitar.
Can't really play that well.
No.
All right, Leanne, you're sticking to the schedule pretty good. So what's been motivating you? What matters the most?
Well, the fact that this was the first year in a long time I actually got my spring training in, because I wasn't at work till 9. So I feel like, man, I finally got a good start where I was actually following right from the start, because I can't always do that. It's really hard though. I have to say it's very hard to run alone day after day. And Craig really just, he nailed it with the structure, and I'm such a creature of structure. I need structure in uncertain times. And health. It's really like, why did I ever start this anyway? I started running before I was ever really going to run a race a long time ago. So, I do enjoy it, but it is hard. The motivation to do the high miles is getting harder. But once I frame it like this, in all the regular seasons, once I hit the one that we have this weekend, 15.5, was at the 25K. Mm-hmm. That's always the point where I say, I can do this. Because if I had to do 10 more miles, I could. So I just keep looking at this coming Saturday and thinking, all right, if I can do this, I can do this. It's a way bigger challenge. So it's obviously not the race I'm doing it for, but I will be really proud of myself if I can do this. I don't even care if it takes me 8 hours. I will be so proud if I could pull this off, doing this 100% alone as far as the running goes. I mean, I have you guys, but I don't have you when I'm running. And that's really the biggest challenge. So, health and a different challenge, and I will be proud no matter what, even if I end up doing it. It's so hard getting out there alone. So you have to have other reasons.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part. I just think about our speed work nights, and the most fun part of that is the mile warm up and the mile cool down when we get to run with everybody else. So I miss that the most, I feel like.
Yeah, today I stalled. I was so sad because I love speed work night. Well, I hate the speed part, but I love speed work night. And my warm up wasn't 1 mile. It ended up being 3 miles today because I was just stalling on that part where you have to go fast.
Right.
Next thing I know, I'm like, oh my gosh, this warm up was 3 miles. I better start the 60-second runs.
I heard you guys. I heard you guys go for ice cream after. I want to get part of that when this thing starts. Yeah, that's the best part. It seems like.
Yeah, we'd have to take Allie home sometimes so she didn't have to like run home from the ice cream store. Those are the things that I miss the most, like the fun things that we would do. But yeah, having that intrinsic motivation is what's really hard. So Susan, what's your strategy? Because you have, you know, done different things in different seasons where you say, I'm going to go this far and then I'll do the half, but you motivate yourself to do a little bit more than the half.
Yeah, I don't know about 15 this weekend, though. I think I might hit my limit doing it by myself. I did this, I think I did 13 this week, though. But I'm like, I agree with Craig. It's structure. I don't even care about how far I run on Saturday. There's a long run on Saturday. I like being outside. Yeah, some days are hot, but I always run morning, so it's seldom too hot. I like getting outside. Winter's hard to motivate, but this season, the birds are still singing out when I'm out there, and the earbuds aren't very loud. I can hear the birds the whole time. And I feel healthier. I can eat a little bit more. I can have that glass of wine and not have the scale constantly do this. It's the emotion. It's the rest of the day. I don't know what to do with right now. I mean, I'm much more at a loss on everything besides the running kind of thing. I miss people, and when it sounds like it's going to go back even closer instead of more open, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
It's a problem. You know, nobody else in this house gets up anywhere near as early. I can do that long run, and maybe somebody's up making coffee by the time I get back from a long run. And then there's my son, who's still, I don't know about yours, Jeff, but mine, if it has an AM in it and it's, you know, midnight, he might still be up, but certainly any AM that's before noon, he's not even close to up.
There's a group on Facebook called Running Motivation Group. I think Leanne's on it as well. So they have these stories, and you just like it, and you get these little, you know, video clips and stories about people that, you know, lost 100 pounds or that were fighting cancer and started running, or, you know, so you know, that's kind of cool sometimes to see that and listen to those stories and get motivated.
I talked to a woman, I was doing taxes. I talked to a woman this week who kind of fessed up. She said, I didn't start running till I was 60. I said, well, I didn't start running till I was 55. You know, we're not that different. And her story was, yeah, but it got me through a divorce. Again, it's the stress relief part, you know, when you don't know what else to do. So
Yes. I agree.
So she says, she went the opposite way. Me, I can run and I'm relaxed, and I don't care. I'm never going to run fast. I understand that. That's not why I run. I don't even try to do much faster, as Leanne well knows. But she said she had to back off from running because she found she got too competitive. It was kind of undoing the de-stressing that she was doing, because she was too competitive, and she'd insisted on winning her age group of a 5K. She runs some of the same. She's out where I am. I didn't look up her Blossom Run time, for example, to see if she did that the last couple of years. But it's fun to meet somebody else who didn't start running until considerably older. And why do you start then? You know, I think I've heard more than one. The divorce was, I hadn't heard that one out of that one, but I've heard, I think, more than one that my kids got me into it, which is pretty much what happened in my case. My then grown kids, you know, but they were all in their 20s at that point, are going, come on, Mom, you can do this. You know, you can do this. Why don't you? We're going to do the half marathon and the marathon. You just do the 10K. I think the first real race I did was the Cleveland 10K. Probably took me as long to do the 10K as it took my daughter to do the half. And they had some friends that were running the marathon too, but it was a very social thing. We had my daughter and son-in-law had a, backyard party for like 20, 25 people the night before or afternoon before. There was another occasion that went with it. I don't remember what it was, and then there were hamburgers and chips on the deck all afternoon afterwards, But the last couple of years, and I think I've said it to Leanne and actually a bunch of you, and I think Craig said it too. I've said it to my brother, is that the whole April till October of September, whatever it is, of training is really what I go for. Yeah, there's a race at the end, and the race is fun. But that one day, those few hours isn't enough to keep me training all those months if I didn't enjoy in funny ways, like I enjoy doing taxes as a volunteer. I enjoy running. It's a weird fun, but I feel good about it. It's pushing myself. It's trying to meet a goal, even though my goal is just to keep doing it. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be longer. In fact, I'd be working against myself to some extent if I did that, because if I get hurt, I'm going to be out. Or if I do something, I will not run, in slippery conditions in winter. I do not run trails by myself. If I break something now, it's not going to heal very fast, and I'm not going to be able to run. So I'm very careful. Anyway, I monopolized enough airtime. You're going to wish I'd turned my video off again.
No, I appreciate your input, because I think it's valuable to know, just again, that intrinsic motivation that you have, to get up and do it and get out there. So that's what we're trying
I
to.
still do like this group. I try after was it 2 weeks ago you did hydration? We did favorite drinks, sports drinks.
Yeah.
I went back to trying like some Gatorade. I tried a Body Armor one weekend, and it wasn't as bad as I remember when I tried it the first or second year. Not the taste, but my system didn't react as badly. So I don't know, maybe it get different, or you expect different things. I don't know. But
Yeah, it's all about experimenting and keeping trying. It's that whole journey. Like Mark was saying, it's the journey that makes it fun. So, all right, David, how about your perspective? And you said you went on vacation and then you kind of fell off for a little bit when you came back, but now you're back on track. So what motivates you?
Mostly it's health and stress relief. I started running maybe 8 years ago now. I was about 215. Now I'm about 165. So just trying to be less of myself and remind myself that I need to go out and run because it makes me feel better.
Yeah. So to be more of yourself with less of yourself, basically,
Correct.
huh?
Yes. Well, to be less this way and in here more. Or, yes.
So yeah, I think that theme of health makes a big difference. So Allie, what does that mean for you right now? Because your body is changing and you want to stay healthy, but you can't overdo it because we have our NeoFit baby coming. Yay. So
yeah, it's been like one of the biggest motivating things has been, because obviously I have I'm not going to be able to race. There's no race or mileage I'm working towards. It's just kind of getting out there. And pretty much from when I found out I was pregnant until 14 weeks, I was really, really sick. Definitely wasn't running, was some days couldn't get out of bed, and I would lay there and be oh my God, I really miss running. I want to go on a run. And then now I've been feeling good. So it's just setting, I had a goal, I want to run until I hit 20 weeks. So I hit that a couple weeks ago. So now it's just week by week, if I can get out there, even if it's for a half hour, or the max I'm doing now is an hour. And I'm getting out there just for time. And it's something I look forward to now, but I do miss especially Tuesday and Thursday nights. I miss that a lot. So no like real goals, just like every time I get out there, I feel good. Like, okay, it's still another week. I, feel well enough to run and everything. When like a couple weeks ago, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to run like at all during pregnancy because I was so sick. But and then still like for stress relief, because for work we went from doing work research and seeing patients with like different lung diseases to all of a sudden now like 100% of our job went to COVID patients and research with that. So it's like in the news watching, everything about the pandemic, and then that's like all we're doing at work right now. So it's like there's no, like the only escape I get from it is like when I get to go on a run and like shut everything off and don't have to think about it. So those have been like the two biggest motivating factors. And then I'll just run until I feel like I can't anymore. And but yeah, the last couple of weeks have been really good. Just getting out there for like an hour, half hour has been good. So
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, Jeff, what's your motivation for running besides to get out of your house because there's a guitar playing going on?
I don't know. I've fallen off the wagon quite a bit. I only run on the weekends. Look at my Strava account. During the week, I just tend to be too busy and can't really do anything. So I've been trying to do the long runs, and this weekend I fell off the wagon again because on Saturday, after about 2.5 miles, it was starting to rain. So I was hiding under the rocks at the ledges, and I thought I was doing well. And then all of a sudden, Andy runs by me and says, "Hey, Jeff." And he keeps running south. So I said, well, I could do this. So I get out there, and honestly, I took like 40 steps and it was just rain pouring down. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? So I ran back to my car. So didn't get my mileage in. So I think the key to this is just to try to keep routine. I think that's what everybody says, just to get a break from COVID, just to get a break from everything, at least try to run on the weekends. That's what I'm doing. I think what we really need to do is, and I sent you guys a link this afternoon, we need to organize a virtual race. Whether you're going to run a race or not, there's a group that this Orange, what was it? Orange Mud. It's a place that sells gear. They are doing a virtual race where they have a medal and everything, and you do it between August and September. And it's like $35 or something. I think we should organize a virtual race with a real t-shirt. We need somebody to come up with a great idea. We need a real medal. We'll do it at cost. We need, a little bit of swag. And then we do it like the last 2 weeks of September. You do it whenever. And we just form a little Strava thing that's kind of your legitimate that you did it or whatever. And then we all run a race. So we have something to look forward to. And if we run it together, great. And if we don't, we don't. If some of us run together certain parts of it, that's fine. But I think we kind of need a goal, because I think we've kind of struggled with that along the way. And I hear a lot of people saying like, well, I don't know what I'm going to really do. The mileage is too long. And I think if you had a real thing to do and you had 2 weeks to do it, and you could do a 10K, a 5K, a half marathon, a marathon, you got something to look forward to. And so, halfway through September, you're really going to be running something. You just don't know where. And you're going to get swag. You're going to get a real shirt. You're going to get a real medal. So what do you think? I mean, I think we can do it for like
I think that's the hardest part.
Well, races are all about getting the t-shirt and the banana, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll give you a banana too. We'll send you a banana, or we can all buy the same bananas and
That's
split
right.
them up.
Hold the banana
All
up.
run by Costco with the same banana, the banana shot maybe. But I think we need a real goal, and maybe we can just organize that. And I think Vince was willing to give us how to get a medal or something. And, maybe we can all do like some generic medal and a t-shirt and, have something kind of fun.
External reward versus internal, and how we view that. So I'd love to be able to get a poll from people who, Michelle gets points for wearing her NeoFit tank top. Good job, Michelle. you know, to get a sense of what it is that people need, you know, and that motivation. Is it that people need some one-on-one accountability? Do we need to match people up to be like accountability partners? Do we need to all journal ourselves so that we have that intrinsic motivation? Do we need the external motivation with, you know, a shirt and a medal and a banana? I don't know. I don't know what people need. So
I don't really need a
Um,
t-shirt, and I don't know if anybody needs a t-shirt or a medal. I mean, everybody has all that stuff, right? But I think we need a goal, right? And I think there's an internal part of us who can get something done, right? And that's why we run a race, not really to run the race, but to, you know, have an end, right? This is what I'm working towards. And so I don't know if we necessarily need that, but I can hear it in everybody's voices because I feel the same thing, right? 15 miles. You're like 13 miles. I mean, I ran 4. It's raining like cats and dogs. What the hell am I doing out here? I mean, like, you know, if you guys were standing next to me and we were all soaked, I'd keep running, right? But nobody's there. I mean, Andy just ran by. He looked good, but wet. And that's when I was like, oh, I don't want to do this today. And I think if you guys were standing there, I'd keep going, right? I just run through the rain. We ran through lots of rain. But I think that's part of it. It's not that we couldn't do it. We can all do it individually. There's no question about that. It's that we need a goal, and that maybe keeps us accountable to each other and to ourselves, right? Like, hey, this is going to be real in the second week of September. It's coming.
yeah, no,
I
I
don't-
agree. I think it's hard for me because I've looked at this whole pandemic as just being really, there's so much uncertainty. And I'm really glad that the races have made some good decisions to either be virtual or to be canceled. But yeah, that leads a whole nother challenge to really doing it virtually and really getting yourself out there. It's really hard to get up as early on Saturday mornings. I don't know about you guys, but man, my Saturday mornings, I get up early. I had a lot to do and I could do all that. Now, my Saturday mornings, I feel a little lost. So it's just very different. But
I don't know about anybody else, but I need more than a medal and a t-shirt. Do you know how many of those I've had mailed to me recently and I've done jack nothing? You know, so like I've got all these races I signed up that converted to virtual, and they just mail you the stuff, and I really haven't had any motivation to
Yeah.
run 13
Well, I don't
miles
think
on my own.
I don't think we need
I
a
need to meet
medal.
somebody somewhere. Like you were mentioning, Brenda, like pairing people up. Like I don't even care if it's somebody that doesn't run at the same speed as me. If I know I have to meet somebody at 7 a.m. somewhere, because, you know, I don't usually run the same speed as anybody else at NeoFit anyway. So I usually end up running mostly by myself, but so I'm kind of used to that. But if I know I need to meet somebody somewhere, you know, then I'll be there.
well, and just to clarify, I guess I mean like an accountability partner to say like, hey, I'm going to go do this. Are you going to do this? Because I'm still, you know, being the healthcare provider that I am, that we have to stay separate and that we really need to maintain these social distancing. Believe me, I would love to meet every single one of you and go on a run. Like I would do that in a heartbeat, but you know, we get asked from our hospital leadership to be good role models. I understand how this pandemic has driven us all a little bit mad by being so isolated. And I know, Mary, you work at home. You know, I'm in the same boat. You know, I live alone and it gets really lonely after a while. It gets really hard to lace up your shoes knowing that you're just going by yourself. That's what we're talking about this, but trying to find some strategies. So Melissa, how about you? I know that, you know, your story, you had your training season that you were with us before, and then you had the car accident and you took a long time to recover from that. And now you are, you know, trying to get back on track. So how is this season going for you and what motivates you?
This season's actually been a really good confidence builder in a couple different ways. I'm actually about a month behind now because I've had to go back to PT for minor stuff, but caught it early enough that it did become something major. So that to me proved that okay, I can overcome this. It's not going to be something that derails everything. And I think in a way, not having Akron on a date lifted the pressure a little bit and allowed my body to kind of do the easing into this that it needed to do. I do have this goal, and it's not the race, it's that I can actually do this. So I think I have that motivating factor. And then the other thing that happened, so I went and I saw my back doctor this past week, and he was like, "You're doing great." I'm like, "I'm feeling great, blah, blah, blah." He's like, I'm like, "Well, tell me I don't need to see you anymore." And he goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, come back and see me after you run your half." So I have my, now I have to do it by October 30th. So I really am a month behind, and I need to keep this going. So the other thing that's been cool is hearing people's stories here, right? Like seeing how many people here that have been injured. Like when you had everybody raise their hand, like I was like, and they're running all kinds of marathons. Like, girl, you can do this. So it's been really cool. This is, I think in a way, having the season be this way turned out to be probably what I needed in a way. I'll also agree with it. Everybody else, like the stress reliever piece of it is huge. There's only been one time where I was like, man, I don't feel like doing this, but I still did it. So that was good. So that's been good.
The difference in your story or what the season is for you is that, and those of us, we remember our first time getting through the season, and it was like, oh my gosh, I ran 10 miles, like double digits, or then I accomplished this and I accomplished that. That is like a whole different level of motivating because you're accomplishing something new each week. And when you've done it before, it's really hard to go back and do it again, because the next time you're like 13 miles, like, well, I've run 13 miles before. I just don't feel like it today. But it's tricky how it messes with your mind, because you know that you can do it, but it's actually harder the second time around to make yourself do it because it's not as exciting. And that's where a lot of us are with this whole thing, is that it's just not as exciting as it was. So for you, Melissa, I see you're excited and that this is awesome for you. And it's awesome in that confidence building. So your body is like absorbing all this and training and getting stronger. So I love that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
It is a different ball game for people who have run several races, and you kind of cheat yourself sometimes by thinking like, oh, well, I don't need to do the speed work. I don't need to do the hill work. Like I've done this before, but then it's not as easy, and it's just sometimes a little bit heartbreaking. So, all right, how about Mary? What's your motivation? How are you staying with it out there?
You guys can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay, you can, okay, because I'm on my phone and I wasn't sure if I had the audio really working right. I actually kind of feel the same way. I was out with my ankle most of the winter, so I had to start back slow in the spring. And that's when they started closing everything. And then it was really nice because there were some roads that were closed. And for me, my first goal was to make it up the hill to Berea Falls. And I was walking that hill with my husband. I was running it. And then I got to the point where I did be able to make it up. It wasn't even that big of a hill, but it was still a good accomplishment for me. And so, I've just been kind of working my way up. And on Saturdays, I've actually been kind of enjoying myself in a way, because I look at, the way I motivate myself, I guess, is I look at it as an adventure. Because I can't rely on the water being there and everything. I have to think of my own route. I'm doing longer, probably a little bit longer than what's on the schedule, just because I'm kind of enjoying myself. I mean, it's lonely, but it's different. I guess right now it's just different enough that it hasn't gotten to the point where it's really hit me as being lonely yet. And it's just, I see it as, because it is a stressful time. It's real stressful with my work, because we lost a lot of people, not lost them, we just, we have to replace a lot of our employees that left. And so I'm training people, and it's just, my job is very stressful, even though I'm working from home. So I just look at it as an adventure. I try to plan out a route that's maybe a little different. I go to Brecksville. I don't live near Brecksville, but I like to run there because it reminds me of everybody, and I like the routes. But I do mix it up. I'll do around like my area one weekend, and then the next weekend I'll go to Brecksville. So I do the towpath or somewhere. Meadows I really like because it's closed, and so I always incorporate that in. So yeah, I guess right now, ask me in a month, it might be totally different. But right now I'm kind of just enjoying making it into an adventure and trying to figure out how much water I can carry. I did buy the one thing that Vince had shown us earlier on. It's like a handheld, because I wear a belt, which is fine for me. And then I got this handheld that I really like because it's got the like the bottle that's collapsible. And that's nice because as I run, I'm not always carrying that heavy bottle, and my fingers tend to fall asleep with handhelds. But that one I can kind of squish, and so it's really nice. So I can carry like 40 ounces of water on me. And so I found, I can run pretty far with that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. The weekday runs are hard, especially the speed work. But I always kind of did those myself anyway, so I just use those as stress relievers after work.
Oh, that's awesome. And Mary's somebody who knows that she's run 50 miles before, so you can do it. It's just getting yourself out there. And like you said, I like how you talked about how much water you're carrying and the plan that you put on there, but it is like an adventure then. You're kind of going out for your little adventure and see what happens. So, all right, Coach Terry, what's keeping you motivated? There you are.
Go ahead and unmute myself. Well, when I first started at NeoFit, I only joined because I was looking for people to run with. So that was a long time ago, and I would just go and meet everyone every week, and we would run. I had no motivation or no goal to even run a race. I would just go every week. And then we did, 14, 16, 20 miles. I still had not signed up for a marathon. That wasn't my goal. My goal just was to have people to run with, to do it, to just accomplish something for myself. It wasn't about the race. And I still feel, to me, it isn't about the race. It really is about the training. Every season you train for a marathon, you find out or learn something. If you listen to yourself, you find out good things and some bad things too. But I'm using this year, actually, I miss everybody. That's the worst part of it, because now I do really like to run. That was my goal to begin with, and it still is, to run with everyone. I think the people actually help. We help each other. You can go through it. And if you don't, there's somebody to say, oh, good job, keep going. And you don't have that. You have your own mind that you're dealing with out there. And sometimes that gives us the strength, especially during this time. And with the hospital and everything with the COVID, it is, like Mary said, and Brenda, it is extremely, probably the hardest years I've worked in the medical field. Mm-hmm. So the running to me is my therapy. It's just a way out, a release. And I get to run. I always say that, but man, sometimes I really do mean it. And when you don't run, if you have an injury or if you've been on the sideline for a while, you realize how it really is part of your life and how important it is. But the people is what really makes my running the most, it's like the valuable thing that I get out of it. So now I just have myself and my mind, but we'll get through it. And, if we get to run, we can run. That's a gift.
And I think that's the just important part to remember. You're right, Terry, because sometimes we get down on ourselves or we feel not great about ourselves, but we do get to get outside and run. And that's, again, why like being healthy and making sure that we don't get sick, that we stay apart and we're just washing our hands and doing all the things that we need to do so we get to run, so that we get to go for a run is why it's so important. So, all right, Joan, how have you stayed motivated this season?
Just trusting in the program and I think Strava's helped with me. You know, I haven't run with you guys in a couple of years because of my different surgeries and things. So I had been really looking forward to getting back and running with a group, but with everything that's going on, you know, I understand why we need to be apart. But just trusting in the program and checking in on Strava to see what people are doing, and, you know, getting encouragement just by those thumbs ups or whatever from, you know, people who are on there. And just, you know, I run, keeps me from getting too grumpy at work. And I found if I miss my run, I'm grumpier. So that motivates me as well, because it's not fair to my coworkers or my kids and family. That's about it.
I think that you've done, you know, again, coming back from having some surgeries and things like that, where, you know, it can be kind of depressing, and you were, you know, had a fitness level, and then, you know, to have that happen and then have to get back into it, sometimes that's really hard. But yeah, you've done a great job being really consistent and trying to stay with it. So that's awesome. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Michelle, since you showed up in your NeoFit tank top today, good
Had it
job.
all day.
Right. So what's keeping you motivated?
Well, I've always worked from home, and it's my way of getting outside and able to do something for myself to relieve stress. I am so thankful that I am running during these times. But it's just to get outside every day. And Strava does help, because that's kind of accountability. You're seeing who's out there, and it's like, oh, if they can get out there, I can get out there. There's, you know, so, but it's been tough. I miss everybody. I have to mentally talk to myself every day, saying, as I'm sitting on the couch, drinking my coffee, you know, like, well, I'll sit here and watch the Today Show, because I don't start till noon, which is nice. But then I'm in the house from 6 o'clock until, well, if I didn't run, it'd be all day, all night.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do miss everybody. And the longer runs are getting tougher. I'm not really signed up for anything. I am signed up for CIM in December, but I have a feeling, I don't know if I'll get on a plane. So I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know. It's tough.
I didn't realize that you worked from home before this, that you always worked from home.
Yes. The last couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be, I think, a challenge in the sense that you were already, I guess, isolated, but not really from your coworkers, because you're probably on the phone or what have you. But I don't know if that makes it easier or makes it harder.
I think it's harder, because I did travel to California a couple times a year, because that's where my sister's business, I work for my sister, and that's where her business is. So I would, but there has been no traveling, obviously. And I don't know, it's just harder because of these times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, Dave, are you on the phone? Is that you calling in?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Dave.
How's it going?
So, how are you staying motivated?
Well, listening to everybody is what's probably doing it for me. I mean, I've just been trying to stick with some type of plan. I mean, I don't have any plans to run a race, but I'm getting out. Today I was out there. I'm out maybe 3-4 times a week, and I've been doing the long runs on Saturday just by myself as usual. I do like, what I think about is while I'm doing the run, I always remembered when everybody always tells me go from place to place to place, so I try to make it a goal. If I can get to like this stop sign, and then I'm going to go to the next intersection, and then I'm going to go to the square, and then I'm going to turn around and make my way back. So, that's just what I've been doing. It's not easy, but I do a lot of run walking now. I'm nowhere near what I would normally run, but I like today. And the other thing I've been hearing a lot through everybody talking is, I am working from home, and it gets me out of the house. I got to get out. it's just horrible for me to sit all day long, to do absolutely nothing but sit in front of the computer. And, you know, I'm doing my job, but I've been taking my breaks during my lunch. I leave, I'll run down the street, come back, and then that's just what I've been doing. So that's all I can really tell you.
Well, I think that mix of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, that's the hard part, figuring it out for yourself. So I like what Michelle said about using Strava. You know, you use that to kind of see how everybody's doing. You then have to motivate yourself to put your running shoes on and get out the door. And it is a challenge. And I think that sometimes when we see other people out running, or maybe you look at Strava and you think, well, why is it so easy for them? You know, because it's hard for me. And that's what's so weird right now, where like, it's like everything's normal, but yet it's not normal. And we can kind of trick ourselves into thinking that this is all just, you know, a normal July, and it's not. So I think figuring out what matters most, and that's what we've talked about kind of from the very beginning, and as things have kind of shifted around, and you know, maybe at the beginning we were kind of thinking, well, the virtual race will be fine. I'll do it on my own. I'll still do Akron. But as you kind of get into it and realize, like, it's really not the same, you know, it's not going to be the same. The whole process is different. When we think about how we used to get prepared for Akron and get up early and get down there and see each other and take a picture and then, you know, line up in the starting corrals. Yeah, that's not how it feels when you just like lace up your shoes and leave your house in the morning on a Saturday. It's like totally 100% opposite. So trying to figure out what it is that is the reward. I think that you guys talked about the health benefits, how you feel afterwards, that kind of indescribable, like you just feel good about yourself. Which is always why I feel like other people who aren't as healthy, they just need a little bit of that feeling that you get from a good workout, where you just feel really good, that you're kind of tired and maybe a little bit sore. But it is harder to push ourselves and to stay motivated. So I do like the idea of having a culminating event. Again, it just feels like a lot of uncertainty. So like Allie and I work in the clinic system, and we have the most amount of patients hospitalized right now across all the hospitals in Ohio. So, you know, it's a lot. It's kind of overwhelming. And I think that the numbers just keep going up and up and up. And then what does that mean? So, you know, unfortunately, I get to have to go to the hospital every day, and then it just is kind of depressing in itself. So, you know, that's just where my motivation kind of gets sucked away from me this year from different issues that I've had, and I haven't been able to run as much. But I'm trying to get back out there. And when you have not been running and then you're trying to run and you're way, way far behind, it doesn't feel good either. So yeah, for me, trying to figure out what matters most, which is just to be healthy and have a way to have stress relief, because I haven't really been able to have that. I haven't been able to do yoga either. It's been a lot. So I think I have more gray hair. Hopefully you guys can't see it. But so yeah, trying to figure out ways to keep us all motivated, because it's like a weird roller coaster. So some person might be up and another person might be down, and that's the purpose of these Zoom calls too, to just kind of like get that from each other so that we can all figure out how to stay with it, because we can do it. We know we can do it, but some days it's just really, really hard. And so I appreciate the honesty, like Jeff saying, you know, it started to rain, and you know what? A couple of raindrops can really kill your motivation. It was hot and humid. I mean, all those things, it's hard to get out of bed. It's hard. You have that desire to start at 6:30 in the morning, but then it ends up being, you know, 8:39, and it totally changes the day. So it was much easier when I had to like be someplace, because I'm the one who wrote it in the newsletter that we were starting at, you know, 7 o'clock. So I had to be there. But now, you know, it's a whole different ball game, and it's a lot harder. So what else do we need to do? Does somebody need anything? What do we need to do to make it easier, make it better? having a goal, an end goal, like Jeff said. So having some type of culminating event in the last maybe 2 weeks of September. Pick your race. Have something to be proud about. I think that would probably be a good idea. Although, and then too, it could be a 5K, it could be a 10K. It does not have to be a half or a full marathon. So figuring out what matters most, I feel like that's the trickiest part.
Well, I'm sure everybody knows now that Boston was totally canceled. It was supposed to be rescheduled, and that is like my favorite thing in the world to do, especially since I have friends come with me. I want to do it virtually, so I do have something to look forward to.
Do you have to do it by a specific date, or do you have a window?
It's a window between, I believe it's September 7th through the 14th, so they give you a week.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, maybe that's something that we need to kind of put out there as a list of what events that people are training for. Because I know Leanne's going to do the Akron virtual, right?
No, I decided to defer, but I'm still training for it.
Okay.
I just it's silly to keep my money there when I could use it for next year and still run 26 miles anyway if I really want to.
Okay.
But yeah, but no virtual race.
Okay. Is anybody signed up for a virtual race this fall?
Deferred everything.
Yeah, I deferred.
Akron and Cleveland.
Okay.
So why don't
Okay,
we set
we'll
up
see
our
that.
own virtual race? I mean, let's just set up something virtually. Let's figure it out. That's going to be my task. I'm going to try to figure out how to do something virtually that we can all participate in. It's something to look forward to. You can do it. You cannot do it.
Yeah.
You know, just something to look forward to. Are we doing like T-shirts kind of thing like we always do?
Yeah,
You
I'm
can't-
working on them.
Have you designed that?
Do you have an idea? Because no,
No, but maybe we could combine that. Then we're
Yeah.
not really, then we're just getting one shirt that kind of commemorates all of it. Does that make sense? Like the pandemic marathon or the pandemic race or the self race or whatever.
Outrun the pandemic.
Yeah, I'll run the pandemic. We could have a COVID chasing us. No,
COVID, yeah, a COVID thing with those
no, I don't know
things
if I want
sells.
to remember it in a few years.
Oh
But
yeah.
But I think that maybe we could combine that in some way and just, you know, do something. And then if somebody wants to do something else, that's fine. But at least we're doing something. Because I think we've all tossed around doing a virtual race and then we looked at like $100 and said, that's kind of crazy.
Okay, let me ask you this question. If we had, because it is a strange year, how would people feel about a heathered black running shirt? Do I see nods? I see some nods. Yeah.
I like
I
it.
think it'd be, yeah.
Because, you know, I would never get us a black running shirt any other season, but this season feels kind of like maybe like a heathered black. So it would be not all black, but like a heathered black. So it'd be like, oh yeah, that year. That year.
Black
I mean, I do like the metal idea. That's kind of neat. Something unique.
Well, let's find out what Vince would say about a medal because I think he said he'd get them at cost,
Yeah.
and it's probably really cheap. And then we just
I'm sure
ask
they're
people
not.
who wants a medal, and then whatever it is, probably pretty cheap. But maybe we can come up with a funny medal that goes with it if you want it, and you know, it's just one of those things to look at and laugh.
Yeah, I agree. We need some way to kind of remember. But, you know, again, I'm having trouble figuring out like how many people are, I think we've probably all been up and down, right? So, you know, maybe some people went on vacation and then fell off. That happens every year. But maybe somebody had somebody get sick in their house and they've just really, everything has fallen apart. I don't know. It's been hard to stay in touch with everybody. But, you know, everybody's kind of in different places. So how do we figure out who wants to participate? And I don't know if I just need to put a Google document together and see who would want to, you know, run just the NeoFit virtual race.
Makes sense.
All right, well, I appreciate everybody sharing tonight. I think that, again, we kind of all go up and down and struggle and have good days, have bad days. The uncertainty does kind of wear on you. I think that makes it really hard just to find that motivation. So you guys did a good job of kind of explaining it so that hopefully everybody feels more motivated. I mean, I don't feel less motivated listening to all of you guys. It makes me feel more motivated. Again, because I've kind of been struggling and, you know, it's not as easy to go out and run when you're kind of out of shape. And so I'm trying to get back into it so I can be more like you guys. That's the goal. All right, next week's topic. I don't know that we've determined next week's topic quite yet. How many of you want to learn more about trail running? Do we need to bring Vince to talk about trail running?
About what now?
About trail running?
Trail running?
Or what other topic would be of interest?
I'd like to hear about trail running because I've never run trails, so that'd be fun if
Okay.
other people are open to it.
Not only that, but it's also because I've been entertaining the thought just because of the heat and, you know, all the shade. So it's really good timing for something like that.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, you know, maybe he could give us a perspective of, he could list out the easier trails, the harder trails. And I admit I haven't been out there that much either. And I don't know how, did the governor say if when you're exercising, like if you're out walking on the trails, are we all supposed to be wearing masks or?
I think
If you
it's
can't social distance.
distance, yeah. You
Okay.
can't social distance.
Yeah, he said like in public, if you're in public places, you need to wear a mask. He did not specify anything. So I think if you're close to other people.
Okay, because I know in some of the other fit groups, I believe in Boston, like they have to wear a mask while they're outside running.
Oof, that'd be tough.
With humidity, that would be horrible.
That's not a requirement here yet, as long as you're not like trying to run in a mass of people. Like I don't around my neighborhood, but it's super easy for me to stay 20 feet from somebody. So
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we're still in that window where we're okay, but I just didn't know with Summit County and Cuyahoga County being red or level 3 or whatever we are, what exactly that meant. So
that being said, Boco Gear has some cloth masks that come with a pocket for a filter. And honestly, like I'm able to breathe pretty deeply in them just fine.
yeah.
What was that?
What I've
Boco
been
Gear.
doing is all those neck gaiters that I have come in handy because I wear those. And then especially if I pass someone and they're wearing a mask, I usually pull mine up and a lot of people say thank you. And if I just see like a big crowd of people and I don't want to run by them and breathe in whatever, you know, their breath, I pull it up. So that works pretty well. It is kind of hot though, gotta admit, but at least you don't have to have it on all the time. You can just pull it up when you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Boco one. It doesn't fit super duper tight, if I'm honest, which is probably why I'm able to breathe. But, so you guys, I just got the email to pick my resolution for New York City Marathon. So I just now selected complimentary future entry. So they're not guaranteeing which year though.
Uh-oh.
One of the next 3 years.
So I get a lot of stuff from this thing called Ink and Burn. You know, they have those kind of crazy shirts, and they make masks, and they're like $25 or $24, but they're very cool. And they sent me a mask because you can buy one of these mystery packages, and they just send you things. Well, I did that for this spring, and so they've kind of changed it up, and then they started making a mask. So then they sent everybody who was in that mystery box a mask. It's a very cool mask, and it's kind
Do
of
they have a
like
filter?
it's the fab. It has a space for a filter, and it is kind of made of the same material of the shirts, but it's like 3 layers, and you can breathe really well. And it's, you know, running. It's like a running shirt almost. Very cool. And I linked it to you. And they keep coming out with new ones, and I would highly recommend them. They're really cool. They fit easily, and it works better than a paper mask for me.
Just so you know, Boco gear is like $11, and if you buy 5, you get 1 free. One of those are free. So like for 40 something dollars, you get 5.
I'm into fashion.
The mask fashion, you know, I mean, who would have ever thought that we would be talking about wearing masks while running?
I know.
So crazy.
I've got one that's got the galaxy on it.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
My mom made masks out of batik fabric, which is very, very thick. So when I take the stairs in the morning to work, I cannot breathe at all. So, but
I
that was
linked
nice of her
Ink and Burn on their masks if you want to look at them. They're very cool. They really are.
Maybe we can get a NeoFit mask.
NeoFit masks, yeah.
Chicago, I think, and the galaxy.
Very cool.
Oh, and they've got an emoji smile too.
And these are going to be like wardrobe, you know, matching whatever we have on.
I just can't wait for a couple of years where they're all being sold at garage sales.
10 for $1, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the camo one for my nephew.
A lot of you guys aren't probably self-employed, but if you have like a workers' comp account, which I did, they send you like 50 masks, and they've sent it to every business in Ohio because the governor must have made a deal and some company made them, and they're made with like white t-shirts, but they kind of look like very skimpy underwear. And they kind of shrink, and they're just kind of horrible. But it was kind of weird to get it in the mail. Like, what is this?
Do you know that they mailed 20 of those things to my office in Manhattan? Because there's 2 of us that live and work in the Cleveland area. They didn't send them to us. They sent them to our office in Manhattan.
It's weird.
So what other topics do we want to discuss on our weekly Zoom meetings?
How about like food, weight loss, this whole thing? Everybody's on a different journey, right? I'm a vegetarian and I'm gaining weight, right? I'm like, what the hell? Like, I guess it's because I'm not running as much. But I mean, I think we should have a conversation about all that, like healthy eating.
I really like that idea because like I've totally transitioned from like now that my last half marathon that was supposed to lead up to the marathon is deferred. I've kind of switched gears into, okay, now what would it look like if I just ran shorter mileage more consistently? And maybe it's running for weight loss instead of, because I never lose weight when I'm training for something long, right?
And I really liked your guy last week or a couple weeks ago, except when he talked about Pop-Tarts, I was like, Pop-Tarts? I'm thinking he's going to tell me how to eat well. And he's eating Pop-Tarts and then running really, really fast with a Pop-Tart. And I'm like,
that
I
would
can't
make
even
me
run
vomit
when I don't eat a Pop-Tart.
I can't do the sugar like that.
Well, if I give up my nightly wine, I'd probably lose weight.
So I think it would be really interesting if everybody kind of shared whatever apps they use, because I know some people track things differently, and that might be a good topic. What other kind of topics do we want to talk about?
Hey, Brenda.
Yeah.
I would suggest try to keep us all motivated still, you know.
Running theme.
I like hearing about it.
Yes, I would agree. I think our success stories, maybe we need to have a success story night, and the success story could just be that you made it out for a run and how you made yourself do that.
Yeah, because I just even this past weekend, I meant to say it earlier, but I felt proud of myself just going where I went. And I accidentally went further than I was supposed to go over the 13-mile limit because there was deer inside the on one of the multi-purpose trails I was on, and they had the calves all nearby, you know, and I thought, well, I don't want to scare these deer away. So I decided to turn around, and I went all the way around down in Medina here, a different direction to get back, which put me like almost 2 miles out from where I was going to go. But I felt good about it, you know, and it was hot, but it's just something I thought it made me feel good, you know, and I'm thinking okay, I don't scare deer away and I'm all happy, you know. So
yeah, I think that we need to share our success stories in our journey here, because I think there may be some similarities for some of us. So great. What are there any other ideas off the top of your heads? You guys think about it and think about you know, things are just a little bit different, that we can do these Zoom calls and share a screen and talk about different things, share different ideas with people. I liked when we all shared our sports drink and our gels and all of that kind of stuff, especially when it inspires people to maybe try different things. So other things that you guys can think of that we could share that would be meaningful.
Maybe we could all share like any hacks or tips or gear that we love sometime.
Yeah. Okay.
Along those lines. And it could be like a different topic. So like one night it's gear, one night it's tips.
Yeah.
Food.
I was thinking if there's any sort of like weight training or body weight training exercises.
Cross training.
Cross training, yeah.
Or just because we kind of know each other by name and not really anything else. If there was like some sort of survey that people could fill out and we could learn more about them, or
what your exercise addiction is.
Something along those lines. I don't know. Just
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Zoom yoga night.
Yeah, stuff like that could be really good. The cross training stuff, this is perfect stuff that we can do.
How about a virtual potluck with your favorite things you've never eaten before?
I would just get jealous of everything that everybody else had.
We share the recipe.
Share the recipe. I don't want to make it. I just want somebody else to make it so I can eat it. Maybe we should do a whole thing on what you have the night before a marathon. I would love to talk about that kind of food. So, okay, these are great ideas. How do you think we tell who is with us and who isn't with us? I mean, I know that the familiar faces that have been on the Zoom call and everything makes it easier, but has anybody heard from somebody who's not here tonight and how they're doing? You know, are we all staying in touch in different ways?
I mean, I talked to, I don't know if they're in the group this year, but Jess and Brenda, they're training for the 50 miler. So I run with them sometimes. So they're on schedule to do the Burning River 50.
Burning River, okay.
That's what I don't remember. I don't know who actually registered this year versus who didn't. But like, I mean, I have lots of friends that I've gained over the years that I talk to consistently.
How many people registered for the Neo group this year?
I think we had like 69.
69?
Yeah.
Wow, we never had that many in the group.
Oh yeah, we've usually have over 100, but
Well, I mean in the virtual call.
Oh no, yeah, no, and that's some people have. I mean, it's normal to drop out during the season, but it's hard to kind of keep figuring out who's with us and who's not with us. So, yeah.
Yeah, Brenda, I saw the email about the NeoFit volunteers for Burning River, and I was just wondering, like, how are they going to do that? Like, are we having a aid station, or how are they even going to do aid stations?
I'm glad you
They
asked.
do Canal Corridor because they just did that this weekend.
Yeah, I have let them know that we will not be participating with the aid station. I know they took our advice and they're moving it to the Tiki, what's that place called?
Oh, yeah, the bar and grill or.
Yeah, a different location, but yeah, I let them know that at this point in time, well, this was a couple months ago, just that we would not be able to help with that. So I'm not sure how they're going to plan it. If it means everybody just gets a bottle of water, or you know, they have some other kind of method. But I don't feel like putting anyone at risk for being a volunteer or asking anyone to be a volunteer. So that was something that I had decided that we would not participate in after 10 years. So that was kind of hard. You know, we've been with them for a long time, but I don't want to put any one of us at risk for being volunteering at an event where you come into contact with people. So they will have to figure it out. If they're going to be able to have that event in August, I don't know. I know they're planning on having it. I don't know how they're going to do it safely. I'm sure they have plans in place, but I'm not sure what that looks like. And we just, from my perspective, are not going to be there helping because, again, I'm not sure how we keep ourselves safe in that kind of close contact. So I don't want to risk anybody by asking anybody to volunteer. You guys can go volunteer on your own, that's fine, but I'm not going to be in charge. I'm not going to be asking anybody to go do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I just wasn't sure like how that was going to work, but
yeah, I don't know. They get to figure it out by themselves. We're not going to help them, I guess. So I feel bad. I mean, volunteering is a big thing for me. I enjoy that. I think it's important to give back, but I also think it's really important to keep everybody safe. And right now, we know that being in close contact, and I don't know how you fill up anybody's water bottle or you make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for them and do all that kind of stuff and keep it safe. So, unfortunately.
Hey, Brenda.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I was curious about the volunteering as well. And one reason why I know myself I would not volunteer this year is because, first of all, my dad's been sick and I don't want to carry something on to the family right now. And it's actually a little bit of my motivation to run by myself, so I don't know if it's just something that I think that everybody needs to think about. It's like, if you're in this race and all these marathons being canceled, I mean, they're doing it obviously for a reason. So, and then with Burning River, I did get an email on it, and I'm thinking about it. It's like, I don't know if I want to be sitting there at an aid station at this time. It's kind of sad to say, but anyway, it's just my opinion.
It's really important that we look at things from the perspective of you don't know who you can give it to, and we don't know that somebody could be running 100 miles and maybe they're asymptomatic and somehow they are spreading the virus. And then if you get it and then you take it to your parents, I mean, I'm not getting on an airplane this summer to go see my parents because I'm not going to take COVID to them. I understand that the airflow on airplanes is good. It's just you can't control the people sitting next to you. So yeah, we have to be really conscious of that, which is again why, as somebody who would have asked you to help volunteer, I just made that decision months ago and told Vince and Joe, like, we're not going to be able to do the aid station because I can't. I use the example of Leanne. Leanne has like the sweetest mom ever who prays for us when we're running races, and just any other time she'll pray for us. So, but no, she's the nicest lady ever. And to think that if I ask Leanne to come help and then we get it and then Leanne gives it to her mom, like I would be devastated.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna have to just let them figure out the race on their own. And again, this is why I see plenty of pictures on Facebook of people running in groups. I know that you guys aren't, but it's really hard to see everybody else acting like everything is just normal when it's not normal right now. So, and maybe my perspective is a little bit different, knowing how debilitated COVID patients are when they come out of the ICU, or even just being in the hospital. So I don't want any of that to happen to any one of us. So that's why it's nice and lonely.
When it all started too, like back in March, I think it was like, oh, we'll be out for, the summer, but maybe like end of summer, fall, like we'll see everyone. And then now like realizing, okay, that's not happening. And then, being at the hospital and seeing like how sick the patients are, it's like all these decisions are like really the best decisions. Cause thinking about like everyone that we run with, if anybody was sick, like even if you're not, intubated in the ICU, it's like seeing the patients that are like on the floors and you're alone for days and days at a time. Like staff isn't coming in and out as much as they would, like no family, no, visitors. It's just like really eerie, like when you're up there too.
Yeah, and then patients only see your eyeballs. They don't see much of you at all. That's all they get to see. And so many of these patients have delirium because they've been in the hospital and they get confused. And some of these people, and Allie probably knows, they end up with more permanent lung damage. I mean, we've had one person who she still cannot come back to work. I mean, she cannot, function well enough to be able to walk around and breathe well. And so, it's just a scary, scary thing on top of the fact that some of these people have had strokes. And because it does can put you into a more, a state where you can throw blood clots. And I don't want that for anybody. So yeah, being safe and keeping everybody apart is just partly why we've had to do this virtual thing. And I've been such a stickler about it. So, because I really care about all you guys and I don't want anybody to get sick. So. All right, well, thanks guys. Tonight, this was good. Got some ideas for future things that we can talk about. And I thought this was good. So thank you guys for sharing, keeping me motivated as I try to get back on track. And we'll see you guys next week, okay? Enjoy the long run this weekend. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.